Hello, brothers and sisters in Christ. I can't wait to share this mind blowing revelation with you guys. So, do you guys remember how Jesus appeared in front of Brother Joshua and told him, from the time Israel became a nation in 1948, there will be 77 years to the Exodus? Well, guess what? We are in Israel's 77th year right now, and Israel turns 78 years old on April 22nd of this year. Because April 22nd of this year is on the fifth day of the Hebrew month of Iyar. And that is when Israel celebrated its anniversary, its independence in 1948, on the fifth day of the Hebrew month of Iyar. And that's how they celebrate it every single year. And just because the Israelites celebrated their independence on 1948 on May 14th on the Gregorian calendar of that date doesn't mean that it's the same date on the Gregorian calendar every single year, because the Hebrew month is based on the new moon, and the moon changes every single year. So the fifth day of the second month, which is the month of Iyar on the Hebrew calendar, it actually falls on April 22nd of this year. So that means we're going to be raptured before that date. So I'm going to share with you guys that it makes sense, and I believe God's going to follow the Hebrew calendar for when Israel's true 78th anniversary is, because the Hebrew calendar is based on the new moon, and unlike the Gregorian calendar. And throughout the Bible, it is clear that the new month begins on the new moon, and that's the full moon, by the way. So God's not going to stick with the Gregorian calendar. So I'll also share that just because the new moon is the full moon biblically, and the Israelites, they don't follow that nowadays, just because they're unbiblical nowadays doesn't mean that April 22nd is not the true anniversary of Israel, because they were being unbiblical in 1948 too. You realize that, right? Back in 1948, they still placed the dark moon as the new moon to find the fifth of Iyar. So it would only make sense to follow that practice to see when the new moon is for the fifth of Iyar for 2026. So we're going to be consistent. So that means that the real 28th anniversary of Israel is actually still on April 22nd. So this is undeniable. And it's not just Jesus showing Brother Joshua that. Throughout the Bible, there's so many patterns that prove we're going to be raptured in Israel's 77th year. Like right here, Jacob meeting Rachel at 77 years old, working 7 years at Laban's house, symbolizing the 7 year tribulation. You can pause this and look at it, zoom in, but I'm not going to read it all. I'm going to move on by saying that Brother New Moon Rapture has pointed out that the new year is actually April 1st,
Have to sit.
according to Roman culture, which is the culture that Jesus lived in back then. So April 1st is the new year. So guess what? That is a Julian calendar date. So you have to add 13 days to April 1st to find out what that date would be on the Gregorian calendar. So you get to April 13th to 14th. So a day to God begins at sunset of that day and ends sunset of the next day, according to Genesis chapter 1, verse 5. So you add one day to that. So the new year is actually April 14th to 15th. So the rapture is going to happen right after the last day of the new year of 2026 happens. So that aligns with the rapture happening on April 16th to 18th. And this is exactly why Jesus showed this girl in her dream that there are two lines. One line was written 2025 and one line was written 2026. And right when people cross from the 2025 line to 2026 line, there were many plagues, famines, and disasters, and that symbolizes the tribulation happening right as we enter the year 2026. And what is undeniable and shocking in her dream is she didn't see anybody in white garments in the line that said 2026, which means the rapture is going to happen before the tribulation begins, right when we cross from the year 2025 to 2026, which is around April 16th, which we cross on April 14th to 15th. So that means the rapture is going to happen right after that on April 16th to 18th. So I know she's hearing from God and her dream is from God, because she saw the Antichrist in her dream being an Arabian Muslim. And there's no way she could have known that if it weren't for Jesus showing her that in her dream. So that proves her dream is from God. And this is undeniable because Jesus also showed Brother Joshua that the Antichrist was MBS, which Joshua shared with us. And Jesus also showed the Antichrist to Brendan Biggs. And Brendan Biggs said he was a Middle Eastern man, which aligns with MBS. This is the Antichrist. He's the richest man in the world, richer than Elon Musk. He just hides his wealth. I'm also going to share with you that that from the time God showed us the undeniable Revelation 12 sign in the sky on the 23rd of September in 2017, there's exactly 8 years, prophetic 8 years, and then 8 months and 8 days to April 17th, 2026, the days of the rapture. So there is 1 in 1 billion chance of this sign in the sky happening by chance. This is not a sign that happened by chance. This is a sign from God. And 888 stands for Jesus Christ in Greek gematria. And guess what? The real days of Nisan 16th and 17th, which is the days of the rapture that Jesus told Brother Joshua in his vision in October of 2025, the real days of Nisan 16th and 17th are April 16th to 18th. If we're counting for biblically, the new moon being the full moon, because there's a full moon in April. So April 1st. So you add 16th to 17 days to that to land on April 16th to 18th. These 3 days are the days of the rapture. Ignore these days. These are fake, modern day, wrong calculations. 16th to 18th, those are the days of the rapture, according to the new moon being the full moon, because Jesus told Brother Joshua in October 2025 that the 16th, the 15th, okay, let me think. The 14th and 15th will pass, and the 16th and 17th will be the rapture of the church. The rapture of the church is April 16th to 18th. So do not be a mocker or scoffer. Examine your heart, seek Jesus to make sure you're truly saved. Don't reject this wedding invitation. I can't wait to see you guys in the clouds in about a week. Maranatha.